Hello everybody, this is of course Nick Dutch, back again one more time. Yes, great and glorious, soon to be famous one day Nick Dutch, I should be saying. Well, yeah, well, what the heck. Anyway, I'm here with something I discovered, and I discovered this as a result of tidying up my flat. If you want to discover anything peculiar or weird or interesting or bizarre, just do some tidying up. Okay, it's that simple. There's always something around which is going to startle you. I even found myself some VHS cassettes, and great antiques like that. You know what I mean? Crazy. Okay, well, anyway, here we have an oracle which was based upon the I Ching. Now, this is different because the I Ching is a wonderful, whopping great book with lots of mysticism and philosophy and all sorts of great stuff, and it uses a divination system which is based upon the idea of three coins. Okay, because a coin can have like heads or tails, basically. But essentially, that's divided into yin and yang, which is either a line with a hole in it or a complete, fully full line. Okay. From the back of the cards, I don't know whether this is coming out on this camera though. You can see that there are 8 combinations of these 3-line patterns. Those are called trigrams, and essentially those are pictures made out of 3 lines. Very simple. But what the interesting creators of this one particular cartomancy deck or combination of decks has provided is a pictorial expression of what the trigrams could be. So you got that, for instance. That's don't know whether that's coming out on the camera there. It's an image of wind, basically, or wind pushing a tree. So you can start to think about what that means to you. Does it mean exerting a force? Does it mean having a force exerted upon you? Does it mean speed of thought? Or would you want to actually apply something from Western occultism to this? This is obviously, based upon Eastern occult ideas or Eastern spiritual ideas, we should be saying. Well, what about this one here? That's emotive in a different way. Because, I do operate visually. I'm a tarot reader by profession, so therefore I've always used imagery, and often the imagery associated with the West. But this is different because it's done in a style which is reminiscent of ancient Chinese art. So it's already giving a different feeling to the diviner, or in this case the appreciator of the imagery, and trying to put a meaning upon the imagery myself. Okay, because I don't read the manuals which come with tarot cards or whatever all that much. I do sometimes just try and get a feeling as to what the original artist was trying to create, but not necessarily all that much. I mean, sometimes it's a bit like those some types of fantasy book which only has like a very slim quantity of story, and all the rest of it is how the history of the land and all the rest of it, with some packs of tarot cards. So essentially you need to spend more time looking into the history or the mysticism to try and understand them. But if I'm doing a reading, the way I would do it is through the imagery itself. I mean, some of these are like really, really elemental and evocative. So I could quite easily see someone from Wicca or any other form of Western or British occultism going into this style of deck. Okay, so it's just power, and that mountain image really gets me. I mean, that speaks of. It's almost like it's got a sound associated with it, a really like low guttural depth type sound, the sound of the wind echoing through a mountain range, for instance, like what we got in Scotland. The road image on this deck is supposed to symbolize thunder, funnily enough. So it's curious. They couldn't quite get everything in place. I think the water image is very tranquil, but the whole thing is, that's 8 cards, the 8 larger cards. But they've also got 64 smaller cards, because essentially if you were to take one of these and place it, let's say, beneath another, you got another meaning there, or the other way around, you got another meaning there. Okay, so that's 8 times 8 becomes 64. So this little pack has got 2 separate images. Okay, you got an image on the top and an image on the bottom. And so you get a different emotive feeling from it when you look at it. What is it saying to you? What is it trying to communicate? I mean, lovely water image there, I must say. That's beautiful. And this particular combination, there you can see the water image beneath and the thunder image above. You can see the way they've done it. You know, it's a bridge which is broken, showing the water underneath, leading onto the thunder road. It's pretty interesting. Now, I don't think I could use this as easily for a divination deck as I could the tarot myself. This is much more contemplative, spiritual, religious type work, I think, personally. Some people would turn around to me and say, no, 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 I've used that very same one in very different ways and I got some very good answers from it. Well, if that's the case, then basically, you know, great, go for it and all the rest of that kind of jazz. Just relax, okay? But me personally, this is much more a question of trying to understand the imagery and what the imagery is trying to tell me in its own terms. Maybe I might want to approach it in a certain way or treat each combination of symbols as a spirit in its own right, okay? Maybe even personify it and use that in some form of almost like a sigillation exercise or spirit creation exercise if I was doing things in that particular way. But, you know, I just thought I'd show you, really, because I don't think there is a limitation on how you could... Oh, this one's beautiful. You know, on how to actually create a style of divination deck. With each one, you've got to get used to it yourself. Okay, you've got to find out yourself what these things can mean to you. And yes, you do relate back to different cultures and all the rest of it, different religious groups and different religious interpretations. But it's more a question of exploration of the ideas, alright? Sometimes you need to have a bit of basic background as to what the original culture was trying to say. But to the most part, it's like, you know, it's all your like intuitive and the feelings and all the rest of that. So, yeah, I don't really think that there was any real special thing about this one particular video. I just wanted to show you this and to explain that you don't have to treat imagery or techniques of divination or spirituality in any one particular way. This one's pretty cool. So we got another form of water image, again with the Thunder Road. So it's great stuff. Thank you.